Welcome back, Year 6, to Lesson 17 of 20 of our Destination Reader Sessions about cloud busting by Mallory Blackman. I can't believe we're on Lesson 17 already. Just a few more days until we're finished our book. Let's get started. Before we begin, please make sure to pay particular attention to words in red throughout the lesson. These words are going to be important vocabulary words or important sentence starters that we must be using during our Destination Reader sessions. Any questions for you to answer will be in blue, and any time I'd like you to pause the video and write down your answers, that will be shown in green. Before we begin, as always, please make sure that you have a copy of the text, your strategy prompt sheet so you are using the appropriate sentence starters in your answers, as well as a pencil and a piece of paper. If you don't have these things, pause the video here and come back when you're ready. Great, let's go. Year 6, today we're going to be doing our second to last day, making inferences. So my question to you today is, why do good readers make inferences? What's the purpose? What does it help us do? Pause the video here and write down your answer. Great job. I've written that good readers make inferences because they help us understand the text better. An author simply cannot tell us every single detail in a story. So as readers, we must make inferences which help us to fully understand. I hope you had a similar answer. Before we begin, as always, let's go over 3 interesting vocabulary words that we'll find in today's reading. The first word is an adjective, which describes a noun. It describes something. Our word today is stupendous. Stupendous. Great job. The word stupendous means extremely impressive. Some synonyms, or words that mean the same as stupendous, are tremendous, terrific, or fantastic. Our second vocabulary word today is a verb. Remember, Year 6, a verb is a doing word. Our word today is invented. Invented. To invent something means to create or design it for the very first time. And our last vocabulary word today is a phrase. The phrase is talk wet. Talk wet. Great job. That phrase is actually from the 1930s, and it is a slang or an informal phrase meaning to talk foolishly or silly. Today's questions, just like yesterday's, will be 2 and 3 mark questions. Let's quickly review how we answer 2 and 3 mark questions, Year 6. Remember, my turn. 2 mark questions need a PE answer. Your turn. Great job. My turn. 3 mark questions need a PEE answer. Your turn. Great job. I bet that by now you are getting absolutely fantastic at answering 2 and 3 mark questions. Today we're reading chapter 22 and 23. I want you to look at the picture here. What do you see? Great job. I see 2 people staring up at the sky. And it looks like Davey and Sam, doesn't it? But in our reading yesterday, Davey left. He went home. He didn't want to be Sam's friend anymore. I wonder what this chapter will be about. Let's get reading. Please turn to page 137, chapter 22. I will give you a few seconds to find your place and get your finger ready to follow along with me. Great job. I think we're ready. Let's begin by reading the chapter title. Chapter 22, What Should Have Been. Let's stop before we even begin. I want you, Year 6, to tell me, what do you think this chapter will be about and why? Remember, use the chapter title, What Should Have Been. What should have happened? What should have happened? Use that title to help you make a prediction for what will happen in this chapter. Pause the video here and write down your 2-mark answer. Great job. Here's my answer. I think this chapter will be about Sam, thinking about what might have happened if things had been different with him and Davey. If he had never been secret friends, if he had never talked badly about him, and if he had never told Alex Davey's secret. All right, let's get reading. Chapter 22, What Should Have Happened. So I pointed straight up. You look like a rabbit with long, fluffy ears. And you're a cow's head winking at me. And you... That one doesn't look anything like a cow's head, said Davey. He'd come back. He lay down beside me. That one looks like a table with 2 vases on it. Don't talk wet. It's a cow's head. A table. A cow's head. A table. You need glasses, I told him. I invented cloud busting, said Davey, so what I say goes. But you're not the only one with an imagination, I replied. You two okay? Asked a woman, walking by. No, we're better than okay, I told her. Let's stop there. Year 6. A lady has just stopped and asked if the boys are okay. I wonder, how can we infer that Sam and Davey were interacting here? What do you think their interaction was like? And how do you know? Pause the video here to write down your answer. Great job. Here's mine. Remember, for a 2-mark answer, I need to tell you how they were interacting and how I know. I said, I can infer that Sam and Davey were interacting loudly and perhaps a bit argumentatively. That's my first mark, Year 6. Now I'm going to tell you how I know, or my evidence. I think this because the lady stops to ask if they are okay, which suggests that they were acting abnormally somehow, or she wouldn't have bothered stopping. Year 6, I want you to read your answer and decide, is it a 2-mark answer, or did you need to add something else? Take a moment now to read through your answer and make any edits. Okay, let's continue on. We're on the second stanza, or second verse. We're fantastic. We're terrific. We're tremendous. We're stupendous. The grass is wet. We may be rusting, but we're having fun, cloud busting. The woman gave us a funny look and walked off. And Davey and I looked at each other and burst out laughing. And we're best friends, I shouted after her. Secret best friends, Davey said, his smile fading. Not anymore, I told him. I stood up and shouted with all the breath in my body and all the power in my throat. Dave is my best friend. So what do you think of that then? Good for you, an old man shouted back at us. Okay, year 6. That's the end of chapter 22. Now, our next question is a 3-mark question. Remember, you need to give me your point, your evidence, and your explanation. Here's the question. Why do you think Sam is imagining that he had shouted for everyone to hear that he and Davy were best friends? Why did Sam think he should have? Because remember, the title of the chapter is What Should Have Happened. Why does Sam think he should have shouted that he and Davy were best friends? Pause the video here and write down your very best 3-mark answer. Great job. Let's see what I wrote, and let's see if your answer is similar. I said, I think that Sam is imagining this because he wished he had been more courageous and had been real friends with Davy. That's my point, year 6. My evidence says, I think this because the chapter is called What Should Have Been. My explanation, which suggests that Sam knows he should have and ought to have acted differently. Then, year 6, I go further and I give a bit more explanation. I think Sam believes that if he had told people about him and Davy's friendship, none of the bad stuff that has happened would have happened. I think Sam has really changed. Do you agree? He seems to be much nicer and much more aware of how his actions impact others now. I'd be interested to see what happens in a second edition of Cloud Busting. Maybe that's an idea for one of you authors out there. Now let's go on to chapter 23. Chapter 23. What did happen? So let's remember, year 6, that chapter 22 was called What Should Have Happened. This chapter is called What Did, or What Actually Happened. I lay still, cloud busting, on my own, myself, alone, me, I. And that's it. That's the whole chapter. Let's stop there then. What do you think the mood of chapter 23 is, and why? Remember, this is a 3-mark question. So you need to tell me the mood you think the author is conveying, give me evidence to support your point, and then explain your answer. Pause the video here and give it a go. Great work. Let's take a look at my answer. I think the mood of chapter 23 is loneliness. Ooh, that's my first mark, year 6. The mood is loneliness. Now, my evidence will give me my second mark. I think this because the author uses 5 different synonyms for being alone. On my own, myself, alone, me, and I. Now my explanation for my third mark. This suggests that the author is trying to draw my attention to the fact that Sam is all by himself and is lonely. 3 marks. Awesome. Did you get all 3 marks, year 6? Awesome work. All right, that's the end of our reading today. Now, today's question for you to think about when our lesson is over. Remember, you can write this question down, write your answer down rather, on a piece of paper in your home learning book or upload it onto J2E. Here's the question. Do you think things would have been different if Sam had admitted to him and Davey's friendship sooner? Why or why not? I'm interested to hear your answers. Great work today, Year 6, and I will see you next time.